Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. There's a major Cartoon Network crossover event coming in the not too distant future. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the series Jellystone, which has been on Max for the past few years, is going to have a special event coming at some point this year called Crisis on Infinite Mirths, and essentially it's going to see the Hanna-Barbera classic characters duking it out with some Cartoon Network classic characters as well. Apparently there's over 60 different Cartoon Network characters that are going to appear in this special, and we actually have a list of some of the franchises that are going to be highlighted. And just to go through them really quickly, the Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory, Group Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Evil Con Carne, Ed and Eddie, Regular Show, Camp Lazlo, Adventure Time Chowder, Time Squad, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Cow and Chicken, Johnny Bravo, Samurai Jack, Codename Kids Next Door, Ben 10, Whatever Happened to Robot Jones, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, and My Gym Partner's a Monkey are all going to be highlighted during this crossover special event. Now, I personally have never seen an episode of Jellystone. I know it's created by C.H. Greenblatt, who is the same guy that created Chowder, and Chowder was definitely one of my favorite Cartoon Network series growing up as a kid. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but quite frankly, hearing about this crossover event, hearing about this special that's coming, has kind of intrigued me a little bit and kind of piqued my interest in making me want to check out Jellystone as a whole. I've known about Jellystone since the day it premiered, and while it did pique my interest a little bit, it's not a show that I ever was dying to go see. Yes, I used to watch Boomerang a lot growing up as a kid. Yes, I enjoyed these Hanna-Barbera classic characters, but I never really wanted to see more of them. I never really was intrigued by the idea of seeing them all interact with each other within the same world. But quite frankly, seeing that all of these Cartoon Network characters are going to be appearing in this show, and they're all going to have apparently their original voice actors return to voice all of them, has not only piqued my interest, but it's kind of making me want to watch Jellystone and see what this show has to offer. I've heard good things about it. Again, it's more so just a case of I never went out of my way to go watch the show. Maybe if it was on Cartoon Network, I would have come across a rerun here and there, and that could have been my introduction to the show. And apparently I believe that on September 7th, I believe, don't quote me on the date, but in early September, Jellystone is actually going to have its premiere on Cartoon Network, its season premiere, so maybe I'll catch some reruns during that, and maybe that will get me introduced into the world of Jellystone. But as for the special itself, I have some mixed feelings about it, and hear me out on this. First and foremost, I just want to say I think that it's fantastic to be having this special within the world of Jellystone. As it is already, Jellystone's kind of a crossover mashup with all these different Hanna-Barbera characters, so having an episode where all these Cartoon Network characters go head to head with the Hanna-Barbera characters is a fantastic idea in its own right, especially because it's kind of like two different animation generations going head to head against each other. You have shows like Scooby-Doo or the Jetsons or the Flintstones, all coming from that era in the 60s and 70s, going up against the Cartoon Network franchises, which are the shows from the 2000s and 2010s, that era of animation. So it's kind of cool to be seeing these two different animation generations going head to head against each other and appearing on screen together. Where my mixed feelings come in, if you will, is I feel like Cartoon Network shouldn't be leaving it up to the creators of these series to be honoring their legacy IPs for them. And what I mean by this is Cartoon Network never really acknowledges more than half of the shows I just mentioned that are going to be appearing in this special. Like, when was the last time they've talked about a series like My Gym Partner's a Monkey? When was the last time they've ever talked about a show like What Happened to Robot Jones? These are shows that have all been lost to time when it comes to Cartoon Network. They don't even acknowledge that these series ever existed, and I don't think it should be the creators of these shows that are supposed to honor Cartoon Network's legacy. Cartoon Network themselves should be honoring their own legacy. Like, for example, what is the last crossover event that we got on the channel? The last crossover event was OKKO Let's Be Heroes, where they had a bunch of Cartoon Network properties appear within one of their special events. I believe it was called Crossover Nexus. Cartoon Network in the 2000s and even in the early 2010s, they used to do crossovers all the time. Remember, we had Ben 10 Generator Rex Heroes United? That was a crossover between Ben 10 and Generator Rex. Given that those were both series created by Man of Action, they decided to have a crossover event for it. Or remember back in the day where we had that week of aliens invading Cartoon Network series? You had aliens in an Ed and Eddie episode, then aliens appear in a Foster Home for Imaginary Friends episode, Camp Lazlo, and so on, establishing that these are all existing within one Universe. We had the whole Uncle Grandpa and Steven Universe crossover back in the day. My point being is Cartoon Network actually used to acknowledge their shows back then. They used to have the whole CN City bumper, right? The CN City bumpers were literally a hub for all of these Cartoon Network and Hanna-Barbera series to coexist amongst each other. They all existed within the same universe, and I feel like that's kind of been lost to time with Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network really doesn't honor their legacy. They really don't even talk about their classic IPs, so it's left for these creators like C.H. Greenblatt and Jellystone to do that for them, which that's where I think they're going wrong here. I'm happy that this special is existing. I'm looking forward to it. It's probably something that I'm going to check out, but I don't think these creators should be the ones who are keeping Cartoon Network's legacy alive. Cartoon Network themselves should be honoring their own legacy, but it seems to me, from the outside looking in, that Cartoon Network doesn't really care about anything that came prior to the 2010s. Like, when was the last time outside of Checkered Past that we've had a classic Cartoon Network series that aired before 2010 air on the channel? I know they did some reruns for their 30th anniversary, but outside of special events like that, they really don't acknowledge anything that came prior to the 2010s. And again, they're leaving it up to these creators to do these crossover specials if they're even allowed to do so. Because like I said, prior to this, the last crossover special in a Cartoon Network series that we got was Crossover Nexus with OKKO Let's Be Heroes. I guess technically speaking, there was also that Warner Brothers 100-year anniversary Teen Titans Go special event. I never really watched that, so I'm not exactly sure what exactly that entailed, although I believe some Cartoon Network characters did appear in that. You can let me know down below if I'm wrong on that or who appeared in that special, but nevertheless, Crisis Among Infinite Mirths should be coming at some point this year. We don't exactly have a release date yet, but keep your eyes peeled to when that show could be premiering, and hey, if I watch it, maybe I'll do a review on the episode. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all of this. What do you guys think about the fact that they're doing a Hanna-Barbera versus Cartoon Network crossover special? And do you agree with me that Cartoon Network should be acknowledging and honoring their classic IPs on their own, and they shouldn't be leaving it up to these creators to do it for them? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.